Welcome to Design and Thrive. I'm Cassie Brkich, founder of Brkich Design Group, and the team and I are here to help you level up your brand with practical tips on branding, web design, and marketing for any budget. Whether your business is small, large, or somewhere in between, each episode is packed with insights and strategies to help your business stand out and grow. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. I'm Cassie Brkich of Design and Thrive, and I'm here today with Amy Schaffer, our creative director for Brkich Design Group. We have been in business for 20 years. We've collected a lot of really cool client questions and things that trip people up. And today we're going to be talking about branding and digital and print design. And Amy's here to kind of walk us through all of the ins and outs of how to make your design process really, really smooth and with a great finished product. So Amy, I'm going to start out with, what is the most important thing you want people to understand about branding?
For me, I just want people to know that you don't have to have everything done perfectly. Okay, people are like, I can't do it yet. It's not perfect. I don't quite like it. Yeah, don't worry about it. You gotta use what you have for serious, like consistently. Just use it.
For serious.
I'm just saying, if you're red and white, use red and white. And I want to see you use the same color red every single time. I know you can do it. We're going to tell you how you can do it, but it's important. You just have to be consistent with what you do have, DIY a style guide or whatever, but don't be so a little worried about being perfect all the time.
That's right. Tell me about this brand style guide, because we use that term inside all the time. And I want to know, how can you describe it to someone that is like, what the heck is that?
There are varying degrees of how complicated they can get, but really, if you're, especially starting out, just make one sheet, that outlines, here's what the logo is, here's what the colors we use are, and the color codes. Here are the couple of fonts that we use, and, a couple other things like image style or icon style or, something like that. But, one sheet's all you need if you're just starting out, especially. It just keeps everyone on the same page.
That's so true. Yeah, we have, for some of our clients, we do a brand book, which is more of like a 20-page document, but we also do this cheat sheet, which is kind of like a brand style guide. It's a one sheet, you hang it on your wall. You can look at it all day long. You can pass it on to new employees so that your brand is super consistent all the time. And kind of like what I always tell our clients, or even people that aren't our clients, I would rather you use a bad logo all the time and never change it, never stretch it, never turn it sideways all the time, versus getting a really, really good, expensive logo that you just are inconsistent with, and you're changing colors and you're changing fonts all the time. It's like you're branding two separate businesses.
For sure.
Okay. So, I guess we kind of talked about it already, but what would you say the biggest mistake people make when it comes to branding? What is the biggest mistake you see all the time?
It's so easy to see people like just not matching anything. Like, you have print flyers, you have your website, you have your brand, anywhere you put your brand, it should look consistent. Sometimes people use some random Canva template for social media and it's like pink and blue, but their logo is actually red and black. And then you see a print flyer somewhere else and it's blue and green. And so it's just not consistent. And people have a hard time recognizing your brand at a glance because are you pink? Are you red? Are you blue? Are we green? What are we? So make sure you know what colors you're using and use them all the time. Another thing that I forgot to mention before is sometimes people have these big aspirations, and I love that. I love that you have big aspirations, but you don't need to aspire to look exactly like that business down the street or look exactly like Apple or Nike or Coca-Cola or something. People literally sometimes come to us and they say, we're like, what do you want your brand to look like? And they're all, I want it to look just like Apple. I love Apple. It's so great. Yeah, me too. I love it too. But the business that they have has nothing to do with that vibe at all.
And not to mention they don't have Apple's budget, I'm sure.
It's true. Actually, seriously, like they don't, that's not in your budget. And maybe you're like a little, some other local business. You don't even have anything to do with a clean, modern, sleek feel. Something that has more character and is a little bit colorful and something else totally makes more sense for these people's brand. But they're so worried about looking, quote, professional. That's what people always say. They're like, I want to look professional. It's like, well, professional can be fun and colorful and it can be black and white.
And
you
especially
know?
knowing your audience, is your audience more fun and lively, and they don't respond well to black and white, and they don't respond well to sleek and modern.
Right.
You said something earlier about colors, and I think one of the things I see often in that, using that as a mistake, is when you want to adapt your logo seasonally or for a holiday or for an anniversary. And anniversaries are great.
Hmm.
I see a lot of people putting the years of in business in their logo and kind of tweaking their logo for that special occasion. But we don't want to turn your logo red and green at Christmas time, or pastel, in the spring or anything like that. And that's one of those things. So how, I mean, this is kind of off the cuff, but how can you celebrate those seasons but still stay on brand?
There's a lot of ways you can do it, but one thing that's really nice about when you do, end up having the budget to create, a logo package that's more extensive is that you're going to get a black version of your logo and you're going to get a white version of your logo, which does kind of allow you to put it over top of, say, an image of tulips in the spring. Or, like you can bring in imagery that can still complement your brand. For instance, like for BDG, we have a teal color and like a red-ish color. And so when it is holiday, sometimes we use some of those complementary colors in more often, but they're still on brand.
Mhm.
It's not like
That's
we're
true.
totally switching to bright red and bright green or something. It's like,
Yes.
all right, we're going to talk about growth, so let's use the teal color as the
Yeah.
accent in this piece.
And that kind of puts the attention on how much time is spent on the color palette. We have a lot of gray undertones in our branding, so we didn't choose a bright, bold red. We chose a little bit more of like a mauve or, salmony color. So yeah, that kind of goes back to the thought process that goes through that the designers go through as far as the color palette's concerned.
Hmm.
Okay, so we talked a lot about the branding style guide and creating that one piece that says everything you want it to say about your brand before you start to elaborate and to create design pieces and things like that. So tell me a little bit more about a brand style guide and how can someone create their own?
So super fun. If you have no idea where to start, we do, and we have a Canva template that you can actually just use. It's free. You can just download it. We might even have a video about it, like how to do it. I think we do. I'm just saying. So
I
if
think
you
we
have
do,
no
or we
idea what's
will by
going
the
on,
time this airs.
that's right. No, I think we do though.
Yeah.
We have like instructions on how you do it. There's like a blog post. We have all these different resources that you can use. I don't know if this is weird. People don't do it. They should. Why don't business owners take advantage of the free consult? Because they're free, okay? Like you might be starting and think, well, I know I'm gonna DIY my logo right now,
Mhm.
but in the future, I want to know like how do I budget for that for later? So get on a free consult with Cassie, get the quote for what we do, even if you know you're gonna DIY right now, and use it to ask us questions. Like I feel like you're missing out, people. Like you can use the free consult to be like, hey, I'm doing this with my brand right now, and do you think this color is better? Like, I don't know. You can do it at the same time. There's nothing to lose. Like, jump on, get a quote, and ask questions. I feel like it's
I know. I
underutilized.
not to toot my own horn, but I definitely have had people get off of free consult. They're like, I feel like that was just a strategy session. I'm like, yes, I will be happy to help you. And even if you bring us another quote, I'll be happy to look over that quote for you. Just that's a little of an aside, but we don't want you to buy something you're not, you think you're buying something and you're buying something else. And also, we'll give you free advice. So I think that's a good point, Amy. I'm glad you brought that up.
People don't do it.
That's right. Okay, so we're still working with, we got the free consults, we've got the brand style guide. So people are still wanting to mostly DIY or at least DIY part of it. So, how do you go about that? You have a small budget. If you need to DIY, give me some tips that we can share with our audience.
I'm imagining that I have a brand new business. It's totally new. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a designer in my scenario. I'm not.
Pretend.
Here's what I would do. What I would do if I was just starting out, to be honest, is create a type only logo. Seriously, the logo's not everything. You think it is, but it's really not. Like, get on Google Fonts, they're free. Find one font that you like. You're like, this will work. I love it. Just type out your business name in that. I'm serious. Going along with that, slap it on your, DIY style guide, grab some supporting fonts, make a color palette, get a little bit of style going, and you'll still have a brand style guide, even if there's not really a logo.
Mhm.
Like, I really think you can do that for yourself. You'd have consistency in colors, fonts, shapes, typography. even without a logo, like you can really DIY it. I seriously think that you can, especially if you're just starting. Then as your brand naturally evolves, it naturally grows. You find out who your audience is. Then you're like ready. You're ready to, maybe pay someone to make a logo for you, and you have all your ideas sorted out already. So you're just like, it's okay to start small. I think people are so afraid of, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I don't have money for this. It's like, no, you can do it. Like your idea is good, your business is good, your product is good, your services are good. Just go for it. Start somewhere. That'll
That's so
really help.
true. And I've actually had people come to us with a brand new business, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think you should buy a logo yet, to be honest. I think you should buy that refrigerator you need for your restaurant. And I think you should turn your electricity on, spend your money there, make sure you have a really good product, do your best at what you're doing, and then figure out who your audience is. Like you said, Amy, because some people come to us thinking, oh, my audience is 30 to 50-year-old women and they have young kids or teen kids. And they find out that's not who their audience is. Those people don't need it. It's actually someone totally different. So
Hmm.
people come to us kind of almost a little ashamed, like, oh, I've got this logo, my niece did, or I did, and I'm like, that's totally fine. You've already tested it. You've tested your idea. You've tested your model. You've tested this logo for us. So now we know what works and what doesn't work. And we can actually do the entire process for you and now like actually take a step back and do it the right way. Yes, but like there isn't a wrong way necessarily. Like if you can stick with some of the tips you gave already, consistency, simplicity, that kind of stuff, then there's not necessarily a wrong way to start. And then once you know who you are, know who your audience is, then we can go and do kind of the big girl logo.
Yeah, for sure. It reminded me of, like you were saying, oh, sometimes people don't know their audience when they come and it's just wrong. They give us an example and it's wrong.
Yeah.
The other thing, okay, don't be this people. Don't be these people. What they do is they say, my audience is everyone
Oh,
all the time.
you die
Um,
a little inside
it's
every
probably not. It's probably not. So if you still think that your audience is everyone, maybe you're not ready for a full custom like
right.
logo package, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Everyone is there and goes through it, and you have to like just be in the business and be doing the work and just find out like who are the people that you should be trying to reach.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think that's a really good point. Like I said, you start with the DIY, you download the brand style guide, you can create your own style guide, you do the consistency, simplicity, all of that kind of stuff. Try out a logo, take notes, write down everything that works and doesn't work as you're going along. Because the more data you have, the better once you
mhm.
get to the point where you are at that next level. So we're at the next level now, Amy. We are doing someone's coming to us for a full custom logo design. They've been in business for maybe 2-3 years, up to 5 years, and they want a full custom logo. Can you tell me what is the difference between what we just did or maybe what they just did to the full custom, in regards to audience and things like that?
So if you do come and you're gonna come get like a full custom logo, there's a lot more back end work that happens between us, client and designers. We kind of end up talking about for sure the audience. We talk about what is working, what isn't working. We go through mood boards where the designers will kind of gather inspiration images and inspiration color palettes so that we can get on that kickoff call and really talk about what feels right, what doesn't feel right, and why. I feel like why is huge. People don't realize how much, behind the scenes, like brain work, I guess, visual branding really takes. We ask why a lot, and if you come to us saying, hey, I really love the color red, I think my brand should be red. We might say, why do you think that?
Mhm.
And maybe it's an awesome choice for you to be red, and maybe we think pink or whatever would be completely like 100% better for a certain reason. We're always thinking about why are we doing that? Why do you want a script font? Why should you? Why shouldn't you? There's a lot of back and forth work about really finding the reasoning here and there.
And we
So
really
yeah,
dig
we go
into
through.
that target audience. We really dig into the competition.
Hmm.
You probably want to talk a little about that more than I do, but more than I know because we do all that research. But the competition, people will come to us a lot of times and saying, I really look up to this brand. I really like this brand. So what's the
Hmm.
first thing you do when somebody tells you that?
I mean, we're back to the why. I want to know why. I want to know
Yeah.
why you like it. Like, is it someone that you know? Do you just, are you on their email list and they just have great communication? Like, what is it actually?
Mhm.
Sometimes they don't know why they look up to these people. Are they good at social media? Are they good at email marketing? Or do you just really like the font that they use? Like, what are we responding to here? Because sometimes people have a hard time articulating why it is that they like or dislike something. And so it's kind of like a designer's job to be a guide through the whole thing and try to like pick out all the pieces and then put them all together and rearrange it. So
How
it's
much
a
of it feels like
little,
therapy sometimes.
I know it feels, I mean, that's one reason why I like design over maybe, other standard art is because there's a lot of like puzzle aspect. There's a lot of problem solving happening.
Yeah.
And so it's not just like, hey, I'm gonna hire a designer to like create me something pretty. I
Mhm.
just want to be pretty. And some people do think that because the term graphic design, I feel like is kind of people
Yeah.
are like, I don't even know what that is, you know. Um,
Certified
and
defining that.
yeah, it's like, yeah, my uncle's cousin is a designer. And so they never really, get the full picture, and there's a lot of behind the scenes
Yeah.
puzzle working, solving happening.
And I really enjoy, a lot of our clients, we work with like I would say small to medium sized businesses, but I think a lot of our clients are family owned or there's a family aspect or a generational aspect. And I really go into those consults and I really enjoy telling people, I'm here to like break a tie. I'm here to be a third vote, because a lot of times they're like, he wants this and I want this. And like they don't agree. And it's really fun. I think that outsider opinion is really fun to share in a kind and loving way, of course, but it's really fun to share that. And, you gain their respect also by, being honest with what, like you said, this is the why that you told me. And so the solution is this or this is one of the solutions. And it's based off of the fact that I listened to you and I heard you and
Hmm.
giving you an actual thought out answer. And then they can usually see, and come to an agreement, which is kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, we not only talk about the why, but then we go through these iterations of sketches and mood boarding and all this. And every time we present what we present, it also comes with, a little explanation for
Right.
each thing. It's like, well, you said this in this call, and that made me think of this, and I think this will solve the problem that you're having.
Yeah. When you spit out the words that they said to you back, it really does it says we were listening. It says that, we solved the solution, the problem that you came to us with, which is always fun to do.
Hmm.
So in this full custom brand, we talk audience, we really dig into competition and audience. Is there anything else that goes into that process? Is there anything else that makes it a more evolved solution to the branding question?
Yeah, I think part of it even is just that we have more touch points. Like you're gonna see us more, we're gonna talk more like face to face, we're gonna
Yeah.
present the logo to you and actually get to kind of have more back and forth in the process just to make sure we have everything right. You also get an extremely extensive package of files at the very end. You'll get
In
that
that
custom
30-page
logo
book.
and the 30-page book, whatever. Yeah, you'll get, your logo in horizontal, in vertical, in like some kind of brand mark, an icon, in white, black, full color, CMYK, RGB, and about 5 or 6 different file types. So that's part of it.
That's a really good point, Amy. But going back to the DIY aspect of it, if you're DIYing your logo and even if you're just doing a typeface, always think about vertical and horizontal because we've got mobile phones, we've got desktop computers, we've got embroidery, we've got a lot of different places your logo
Hmm.
needs to be. So thinking about that simple version, maybe a more complex version, something that's maybe vertical, something that's maybe horizontal. And again, that can be at that important aspect of design can be added to the DIY level of design as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you get versions that look good small, look good large, look good, like you said, embroidered or on a billboard or on a tiny pen,
Yeah.
when you print your business name on your pen.
Yes.
And then in the full branding package, you also get things like custom patterns that our designers will make and draw for you. So
Perfect.
there's like these extra little elements that go along. They're so nice. They take your design that you made in Canva from like a completely flat, red or blue square in the background to having a lot more personality and character that audiences will start to vibe with and
Hard to
recognize.
recognize. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's really cool because then you can go back to being DIY again. You've got your logo, now you have a pattern or two, you have a full color palette, you have all the fonts you need to use in your headings, subheadings, body copy, all of that. So then it's just
Hmm.
picking, mixing and matching. You open up a Canva document, you throw everything that we gave you into a document, and then you're going to have like a decent looking design just on your own, which is awesome. Awesome, Amy. This is so fun. Is there anything else you need people to know about branding, so that it doesn't feel so scary or unapproachable, or something that feels like you can't even touch yet because you're not there yet? Is there anything else you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I guess talking back about simplicity, I think people are so worried about communicating everything all at once,
Mm,
on a brand piece, on a flyer, on their, some little email blast. It doesn't have to say everything all at once. You
mhm,
have time, you can do posts, social posts across months, across years,
mhm.
across so many pieces. You don't need to put 5 paragraphs of text on your flyer. Just think about how everything connects. I want to think about how you have this flyer, right? It doesn't have too much on it. There's like one little paragraph. There's the time, the date, the place, and a QR code. Lead people somewhere else so that they can read more information if they want to. But let the flyer stand out on its own. Let the flyer be simple, have large text because you didn't overdo it with how many elements are on it. Just think about how everything connects together, how everything looks consistent everywhere, and just don't feel like you need to put it all out there all at once.
Absolutely. And I think, we're going to have an episode on, we do have an episode on web design and social media, marketing, all of those things, and they all fit together. And that website is like the hub, everything, guide everybody to your website. You can have a page for a new sales page for a new push that you're doing or a new event you're having. You always create a page for that with all the details on there. But even that, of course, even in that, there's a right and a wrong way to design that page so that your eye flows and it's not a big wall of text. So, that's for another
Hmm.
time. But the cool part is we have these team calls and we have all of these like design team calls and full team calls, and we always get really excited, and the brainstorming is flowing, and we're talking about all these cool things that we want to do for our clients. So Amy, I think you came up with the idea actually for our new segment call that we're going to be putting in some of these into our marketing, into our social media, called Design Good Deed. So we basically took an idea for a client that we wish they had the budget to do, or we wish they would have kind of expanded their package to include. And we're just going to do it for free. We're going to do it for them. So, probably in a social media post or in another video, we're going to be presenting it to our client to show her kind of what we accomplished here. But in this episode, being that it's branding and print and digital design, we decided to do something for a client that we really enjoyed working with. So I'm going to let Amy share. We did a website and a full brand for this client. So you'll get to see some of our work, and then you also get to see what we did for her for free.
There we go.
There we go. There it is.
Took a little time to load there. Awesome. So like Cassie said, we did the logo and whole brand as well as a full custom website for Zoo House Interiors. It was a very comprehensive project, really exciting. And this client has a lead magnet that they use for their brand on the website that is an investment guide. So just a free download. If you sign up for their email, you can get the investment guide and learn more details about their services. But of course, since they had a previous brand, they actually had a previous brand name too. They changed the name of the business. So the investment guide that they had was the old brand colors, old styling and everything. So Paige, one of our designers, went in and updated the look of the investment guide to match the new brand.
Looks so good.
So it's kind of fun. You can see this is an example of the brand pattern that was created for them. So it's completely custom. And it's kind of fun to see how you can use it in an actual piece. And this is actually a Canva template. So you can see you can use Canva to make some really nice stuff, especially if you already have brand colors,
Mm,
brand fonts, and the style guide that you're following. It helps so much.
absolutely. And I think, that's something that overwhelms a lot of our customers, is that, oh, I don't want to rebrand, then I have to redo everything. So we thought this would be a nice little gesture, and just a way to show, like, let's take those elements and let's put them into something and show you how simple it can be once you have everything all in your brand guide.
Hmm.
It looks so
It's
good.
kind of like a little final piece to the website puzzle so that everything is updated and matching.
Awesome. We're going to have a show notes document included here. We're going to include our update here of us presenting this to the client and hopefully her positive surprise reaction. Well, Amy, thank you so much for doing this with me today. This has been so fun. We love talking branding together, and this is just another way that we can do that. So anything else to add? We're good to go.
That's right. I don't know. Excited. It's just our little a peep inside of our brain from our marketing meetings that we always have.
That's awesome. Thanks, Amy, so much. And we'll definitely, again, in the show notes, we'll include links to the other series, and we're going to talk web marketing, social media. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining me on Design and Thrive. I hope today's episode gave you some ideas and tools to take your brand to the next level. If you found value in this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. For more resources, freebies, and downloads, head over to brkichdesign.com. As always, find the link in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and remember, we're here to help you create something awesome.